Hi there, good morning, and welcome this morning to the webinar of ATOSS and AFAS on the 14th of January 2025. My name is Niels de Boer. I'm the partner manager of Salure and its product BringQ, responsible for all the partner relations. And next to me is...
Yeah, one of your partners. I am Matthias Gobriel. I'm account executive at ATOSS. We are specialized at workforce management. So that's time and attendance for employees and also employee scheduling.
All right, so the goal or the agenda for this webinar is to help you better understand how our partnership is in terms of what we do together, what does it bring you with the integration, and also we would like to help you better understand what the future holds and show you a short explainer of how the integration actually works. But to start with, we are talking here about two vendors. On the other hand, Salure and BringQ. On the other hand, AFAS. Let me start introducing ATOSS because we have partnered up quite a few times together, so we thought it would be interesting to do the introductions, me telling you what ATOSS is and also the other way around. So with regards to ATOSS, when do you need to think of ATOSS? On the other hand, they have been active since 1987 in workforce management. Family-oriented company, but grown into an international company with more than 700 people working across offices in 8 countries. Currently helping more than 50,000 loyal customers around the world. And basically what do they do is, on the other hand, they're a supplier, but also they do the implementation of the workforce management. So software and services. With that, they have the certified AFAS interface in collaboration with us. More on that later. And also, they consider themselves as the European investment leader for the workforce management. Currently trusted by a lot of international companies. I think the red line here is that they are really good with the mid-market enterprise clients in the market. Let's also see currently the clients that they use have a certain amount of people working for them, and also mostly are operating internationally or multi-country. But Salure and BringQ.
Yeah,
What
are
is
you?
that?
Now, you guys are active since 2010 with international but also national clients. So going across borders, but also very present in the Netherlands. Aside from that, you have more than 500 plus client ambassadors and partners operating in over, I would say by now, 184 countries.
More than.
Yeah, we just checked it. And then you're just like us, you're a family-owned company with 125 plus employees with a HQ in Gouda. However, as we discussed, you guys also expanded with a new office in Nijkerk.
We did.
So that's great to see. And aside from that, we see that you guys are service provider, but also product supplier with BringQ, which is a platform on which people can get interfaces. You're connected to Empower and a tech innovation focused. So we see you're a very strong interfacing partner for us with AFAS, as we will discuss here, but also with other HCM solutions and other solutions in general in the HR landscape. Now, what do we see? We see that you have over 600,000 pay slips processed each and every year, and more than 10,000 employees use your platform BringQ right now.
Yeah, so the service part you just mentioned is we do payroll outsourcing and HR consultancy with AFAS in the Netherlands, but also we have a big integration services part, which consists of consultancy and our own platform, BringQ. So currently, what kind of clients do we help with either the services or our tooling?
So what we see is that you have various clients also going across borders. And that's, I think, also one of your main strengths. So we see beautiful logos like QuickFit, which is for us the common denominator, as we would call it. But also Puma, Aldi, Landal. And that's, I think, the thing where we both have the same. We see a lot of organizations which are present in the Netherlands, but also in various other countries.
So where did our beautiful story together begin? I think when we look in terms of time, 2022, we got an invite from you guys after.
Yeah, we signed a contract together with QuickFit. They currently have, and they had at the time, AFAS in place as their HCM and payroll provider
In the Netherlands, yeah.
in the Netherlands. And then they said, okay, we want to work together when it comes to time and attendance and scheduling with ATOSS. However, we want a data transfer between both systems so that you don't have to do various administrative labor to put the information in both systems. So then we had to look at, okay, but which party would be a suitable candidate to create such an interface? And then we landed at you guys.
But why specifically us?
Because we see that you are very good at creating any AFAS interface in general, but also we see the potential of your organization, where we say, okay, we have the vision to go across borders because we see the complexity and the value of connecting with various systems in general. And that is also a vision we have. And because of this shared vision and mission, we thought it would be a great partnership to work with.
We saw last year in 2024 is that it doesn't stop at QuickFit. We currently are helping multiple international customers with specific value creation above borders, like you mentioned. And 2025 is currently where we're at. So who is next?
Yeah.
But to make that step then, is that why the specific ATOSS interface, Matthias?
Yeah, I think there are many values that can be derived from such an interface. And the first one is actually that you can have the data transferred from one system to another. Usually that's master data. So what we see is that, for example, an employee is being put into a system, be it AFAS, they start working at a company, and then you also need the same data or part of that data within ATOSS. Now that can be done two ways. Either you do it manually, you have to type it out. Let's say you're an organization with 1,000 employees, quite a lot of labor, if you ask me. But there is a second option, and that's via an interface. And that also removes any error proneness, because of course there can be a human error present. It removes any time that's being spent on this labor. And that's, I think, one of the main values that you have with such an interface. Also that you can import not only master data, but be it collective labor agreements or any other specific employee-related data, which doesn't have to be manually managed in two systems anymore. But what else can we derive from such an interface?
If you're looking at what you just said, it's all about country-specific correct information. So every country has their own legislation in terms of tax, in terms of labor law, and they need specific data fields to make the local gross to net calculations in the payroll engines. So it's all about the data information that they get from ATOSS in terms of what they need for the gross to net calculation. So one of the advantages with this interface, your ATOSS is your master of truth in terms of specific information, and it flows automatically to AFAS to do the local gross to net in the Netherlands, and it does so by every time the interface runs, it also does the automatic data validation. Basically saying that we know what AFAS needs to do the local gross to net, what it needs in terms of information from ATOSS, and every time the interface runs, it checks if it's compliant, do we have all the information? If not, we override towards what we consider the master system for this specific workforce management data set, in this case ATOSS. And by using the interface in such a way, you use the specific strengths of both solutions, either the workforce management part of ATOSS and the HR and local payroll engine part of AFAS in the Netherlands.
Exactly, well said.
But it doesn't stop there.
No, far from it. I think if we go into the third main benefit, and now we primarily discuss this from a key user perspective, but not everybody is a key user. You and I, in the end, have to do a holiday application, for example. And what the value is of having such an interface is that you allow an employee to use one app or one system just to ask for an absence or a holiday or whatever. And this makes sure that you don't have the frustration, oh, what do I have to do in system A? What do I have to do in system B? But that you say there is only system A, and you have to just work within that system. And the communication between both systems ensured that the data is still correct within both. So for us, you and I at least, it's far less difficult within our daily way of work. But of course, this is the long version. If we talk in short, what are the key benefits of this interface actually with
I
ATOSS
think
and
for
AFAS?
the daily user who uses this interface, on the other hand, it's helped the employees for the users of AFAS in the payroll processors that work in AFAS and the employees that use ATOSS. In the end, it's all about data consistency, fewer errors, time savings, and also to have a scalable solution that fits any need for your specific business case, because it doesn't stop at AFAS. Either our collaboration in terms of tooling could also go multi-country by having the specific data setup. It's not only sent to AFAS, but you can replace AFAS with the social secretaries in Belgium or a payroll system in Germany, the UK, or in the Nordics. Whatever fits your needs. So looking specifically what is in the interface. I think it's good to mention that it's a bidirectional interface. So basically data flows from ATOSS to AFAS, but also data flows back. So specifically one part of the interface is that all things concerning leave, absence type. You do the data entry in ATOSS and it automatically goes after the data validation to AFAS. So after that, it doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't stop because, as you said, it's a two-way street. So what data goes from AFAS to ATOSS? What I would say, it's generically speaking, master data. So we're talking about names, addresses, maybe the contract of an employee, but also additional data, be it their onboarding or when they offboard. Are they rehired? What is the start date of this? But also the organizational chart. Of course, we can create more data fields which can be transferred. But if we look at the current state of the standard interface, this is the data that's being transferred between both systems.
Yeah, so if I summarize it correctly, once an onboarding is finished, for instance in AFAS, after the automatic updates, the employee itself will be visible in ATOSS for scheduling purposes.
And I think also it's good to note it's constant. So maybe if your last name changes because you're married, of course you have to adjust it only in one system and the other system integrates it seamlessly.
But there's the automatic synchronization every 24 hours. Or there's the manual option of activating the interface.
Exactly.
What you want. All right, so in the market we hear a lot. From a day-to-day perspective, we talk to clients in the Netherlands, clients operating globally. There's a lot of things that we get back in terms of information, and we would be quite selfish if we would keep that information for ourselves. So we try to summarize the trends that we see currently in the market in terms of workforce management and international HCM and payroll. I thought that we would share that insights with you. So one of the things that we see, and I think this is something you see a lot.
Yeah, this is specifically related to our market as workforce management partner. So what we see is that many organizations have a maybe locally decided time and attendance system, or they have many systems in place, and also a scheduling system. However, the data between these two systems actually have to be aligned. If an employee is scheduled, you want to check it with the realization, which is the time and attendance. So more and more companies and organizations are looking at, can we get one system that can do both time and attendance and scheduling? And I think this is one of the key market trends we've seen over the past few years. But of course, it doesn't stop there, because if we look at the global landscape, what do you see quite often?
Yeah, so time tracking in one solution is on the other hand, from a perspective that it needs to do both functionalities in one system. On the other hand, it's also about that is in one central solution to be sent to do local payroll. Because in the end, you could have your master data in one system, do the data entry all around the globe, but if it doesn't connect and work together with the local payroll systems, don't even bother. Because in the end, that's where the local gross to net calculations to pay out your employees in the right manner is done. So for us, time tracking and schedule in one central solution is on the other hand, the functionality. On the other end, it's about having that connection and also to having that set up in the local interface. Because in the end, that's where the tax difference, the local labor laws need to be taken into account for. And that's also maybe more or less a bridge to the last point that we see in the market.
Yeah. So as we say, the world is getting smaller. And as a German original company, there are various smaller Bundesländer, as we call, and each of them has their own rules and regulations. Now, if we go across borders, be it from the Netherlands to Belgium, we already encounter, as you would say, a similar issue. Local compliances are different. We see different rules and regulations present per various CLA. And what we see is that there needs to be a system that can upskill and scale with an organization across various borders, be it regional, be it country borders. And it's important to stay compliant with those rules and be able to be flexible within those rules. And of course, it's not only this kind of compliancy, there are other kinds of compliancies we also need to take into account, and you knew those as well.
Yeah, so in the end, it's all about making sure that the data is compliant in terms of being able to match with the local legislation. Also, it's about IT compliancy, making sure that the data is transferred in a secure way from either one of the workforce management system via our platform to all the local payroll engines that we encounter. And it's good to take into consideration that ATOSS, BRINQ, and AFAS is ISO certified, pen tested, so your data is on a safe and secure place. So we have talked quite a lot. We'll try to lower our voices for now, because we want to give you a small insight of how the interface works. What you will see is 3 small product displays. One, how do you do a holiday request in ATOSS? How does the integration work in terms of the automating? And also, how does that reflect in the AFAS HRM Payroll tooling?
We are looking at the Staff Center login screen. Logging in is possible in several ways, for example via single sign-on or simply with a username and password. In this case, we use a username and password. When we click Login, we are directed to Staff Center. On the screen, you will now see several features appear. As you can see, the software offers insight into things like your leave balance, your schedule, or for example, the possibility to request work from home. For today, we will only focus on requesting leave. I now click on Request Vacation and the following screen opens. In this screen, you can specify when you want to take leave. In this case, I want a long weekend off from the 17th until the 20th of January. And I don't work on weekends, so you can see here that only 2 of the 33 days are used, for the Friday and for the Monday. Optionally, you can add comments to your request, and the system even offers insights into colleagues who have also requested leave during this period. In this case, nobody yet. You then click on Request, and the leave request in Staff Center is completed. You will now see the leave balance change from 33 to 31 days on the left-hand side of the screen. In this case, a notification has been sent to the manager for approval of the leave request. Once it has been approved, you will receive a notification of this on the right-hand side of the screen.
Once the holiday request is put into the system of ATOSS, the information will automatically flow from ATOSS to AFAS via the BRINQ platform. It's good to take into account that normally every night automatically the information updates via the BRINQ platform. But for the purpose of this video, I will show you the manual option to activate the interface every time you want that. Currently, the information flows from ATOSS to AFAS, and in a few moments, the information will be up to date in the AFAS platform. Once the interface has stopped running, the information what is activated in ATOSS will be sent via the BRINQ tooling to AFAS. It should be visible in the AFAS Payroll platform. So if we go, in this case, to the employee James Braveheart, and we look at his holiday request for 2025,
we see that the holiday request from the 17th of January until the 20th of January 2025 has been processed via the interface and is now visible in AFAS.
And we're back. It's good to take into consideration that after this webinar, this information will also be sent to you so that you have a link that you can, in your own time, look back at these videos if all went too quickly for you. Where we would like to end with is basically the impact and also the frequent accused questions that we heard in all our conversation with the market. Basically stating is that what we hear is that we always get the same questions, Matthias.
Yeah, and I think one of the main questions are which pains are alleviated from me. So
Correct.
what is key issues that we see, what are values of the interface. So for us, I think it's quite easy to say, and we already mentioned it, it's saying goodbye to error-prone data entry, that I don't have data A saying this is my street in one system and then another street being mentioned in another system. We don't have this conflicting data and also the proneness of it because you have to doubly manage it. But what is another typical impact we see?
No, yeah, I think it's all about data consistency, what you mentioned. So you can even save time by reducing manual work. But if the data is not consistent in one or two systems, it doesn't make sense to have that. And also, that's why we try to highlight the streamlining and automating certain amount of things.
Yeah. And I think that streamlining and automation is very useful when you have a new employee. If you're an organization with over 1,000 employees, I mean, you will probably have over 20 hires per month, perhaps. And then it becomes quite a lot of double work to put it in both systems. And let's be real, nobody wants to do double work. It's error-prone, it's tedious. Personally, I don't like to do it as well. So having this seamlessly automated is, I think, perfect for anybody having to do this.
Yeah, and also what we see is that there's always the question from the CFO. So, hey, what's in the end? What's in it for me, or what's in it for us? And we have seen in the market, and this is just an example of a typical ROI for a certain amount of business case. But in the end, it helps save time, money, and a lot of headaches on the HR and payroll department, but also for the business managers. So,
and I think that also quickly moves it to the frequently asked questions. How scalable is this? If we look at this from a company perspective,
I forgot about this.
Yeah, or a CFO perspective. This is with 300 employees. What happens if we go across borders, or what happens if we go up in employees?
Yeah, so in the end, ATOSS can be used in multi-country cases, and also the collaboration via us. You have access to all those local payroll engines that we have in our ecosystem. On the other hand, ATOSS already has a lot of interfaces already established natively within their organization. So the combination of BUS is in the end the winning formula in our opinion. So to end up with, if you are interested in hearing more about our interface or are there things you would like to better understand, you can always contact your permanent contact at Salure, either AFAS or reach out to us directly. Good to mention, you will receive this slide deck later on in the presentation, and also this video will be uploaded to the YouTube channel of Salure later on this week. Thank you now for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and hopefully be in touch. Bye.
Bye.